Chosen one, stop for a moment. What you thought was lost, delayed, or ripped from your hands was never a failure. It was never a mistake. What you mourned, what you questioned, what made your heart ache in the quiet hours of the night, it was protection. Divine protection, orchestrated in the shadows of your life, unseen but perfect. God saw what you couldn't. He saw the invisible dangers lurking on paths you were about to take. He saw the relationships that would have drained you, the opportunities that would have chained your soul, the storms that would have shattered your spirit. And he intervened, not because you weren't strong enough, but because you were too sacred to break, too essential to his greater plan. And chosen one, before we go deeper, pause for a moment, hit subscribe and comment if your spirit is already responding, because this message is about to speak directly to you. Let this small step be your acknowledgement that you are awake to the divine orchestration around you, that your soul is aligned with a higher purpose that cannot be denied. Tonight, the veil lifts. The confusion, the questioning, the endless battles you fought in silence, they all converge into clarity. What you believed was a delay, what you feared was a punishment, what you endured in shadows was actually mercy in disguise. God preserved your life, your purpose, and your destiny. Every closed door, every redirect, every no that cut like a blade, it was heaven's shield, gently guiding you toward what was meant to be. The unseen hands of God have moved in your favor, chosen one. And tonight, as you lean in, a revelation waits, a truth so precise, so personal, it feels as if heaven itself whispered your name, just to reach you in this exact moment. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear is not just a message. It is a declaration of divine timing, protection, and a destiny too important to be left unguarded. If you want, I can also craft a version with even more cinematic tension, almost like a prophetic movie trailer. Slightly slower, heavier on suspense and rising emotional beats. Perfect for gripping YouTube intros that immediately stop the scroll. Do you want me to do that next? Chosen one, pause for a moment and feel the weight of your journey. Every disappointment, every door that closed without explanation, every opportunity that seemed just out of reach. Did you ever wonder why it happened? Did you ever feel like life was unfair? Like you were being punished for trying your best? Tonight, I want you to see it differently. What you thought was lost, or what didn't go your way, was never a failure. Not for a moment. Not in the eyes of God. Not in the rhythm of the universe. Sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a shield. Imagine walking down a path littered with invisible snares, with hidden pitfalls ready to destroy your peace, your energy, and even your purpose. God, in his infinite wisdom, stepped in. He blocked it, he removed it. He intervened silently, unseen by the human eye, because he knew it would have harmed you. And chosen one, this is not about control or punishment. It's about preservation. Your life, your spirit, your destiny. These are far too precious to allow harm to come near them. Have you ever considered that the things that never happened in your life were actually miracles in disguise? That the doors that slammed shut weren't rejections, but divine redirections? Every missed opportunity, every plan that fell apart, every relationship that ended unexpectedly, these were shields, keeping you from what could have fractured your soul. God's protection is quiet. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. Often it feels like absence, but in reality, it's presence. The presence of divine care, unseen but profoundly felt. Ask yourself this: what if the things you mourned were never meant to be yours in the first place? What if the delays, the losses, and the failures were actually acts of mercy, guiding you to what is sacred, what is aligned, and what is eternal? You were being preserved, chosen one, for the moment you are ready, for the path that you were designed to walk, for the purpose that only you can fulfill. And here's the truth you must feel deep in your bones. Nothing blocked by God is random. Nothing withheld is a mistake. Every redirect, every no, every door that didn't open, it was divine intervention. It was heaven saying, not now, not like this. You are too precious to break. You are meant to endure. to rise and to fulfill what only you can accomplish. So tonight, let your heart recognize this profound truth. What you believe to be failure was, in reality, protection, carefully, intentionally, and lovingly placed by God to safeguard your life, your spirit, and your destiny. Chosen one, take a moment and reflect. How often do you feel like life is spinning out of control, like events are unfolding too fast for you to keep up? You make decisions, take steps, and yet somehow the results don't match your expectations. You feel the tension of unseen forces pressing against your path, and you wonder, why didn't I see it coming? Why did this happen to me? Tonight, I want to tell you something that will change the way you see every closed door, every sudden turn, every unexpected event in your life. You cannot always see the full picture. Your eyes are limited to the surface of reality, to what is immediately visible, to what seems logical. But God, He sees the unseen. He perceives the hidden dangers, the spiritual traps, the emotional landmines, and the physical consequences that you cannot yet comprehend. He watches over the intersections of your life where a single misstep could have sent you into darkness, despair, or even devastation. What you often interpret as delay, denial, or misfortune is actually divine intervention. He acts before disaster strikes, before pain becomes permanent, before your heart or spirit can be shattered. Have you ever thought about the countless times you narrowly avoided harm, only to realize later that what didn't happen was a blessing? That person who betrayed you, that deal that fell through, that opportunity that vanished. God saw the consequences you could not see. He anticipated the ripple effects that might have broken your soul, strained your faith, or diverted your purpose. Every invisible shield, every act of unseen protection was Him guarding you from what would have been catastrophic. And chosen one, here's a question to ask yourself. What if God's timing, His removals, and His blocks were never arbitrary, but precise, intentional, and loving? What if what you once mourned as loss or failure was actually a redirection toward safety, toward preservation, toward a path that honors your purpose and protects your spirit? The truth is, God is always several steps ahead of your awareness. He sees the terrain you cannot navigate alone. He knows the storms before they appear. And because of this divine foresight, your life, your heart, and your destiny remain intact, preserved, and aligned with what you were born to become. Tonight, let this sink in. The dangers you never noticed, the consequences you could not foresee, were all part of His protective design. What you thought was random, unfair, or unexplainable was actually deliberate. He acted on your behalf long before you even realized the risk. Your journey is sacred, chosen one, and every unseen block, every preventative turn is proof that you are being preserved, watched over, and guided by a wisdom far greater than your own. When you finally understand this, you will see that God's intervention was never absence, but presence. His protection is the quiet power that shields your destiny from harm. Chosen one, have you ever felt the weight of what could have happened? The paths you almost walked, the choices you almost made, the people you almost trusted? Pause for a moment and imagine the hidden consequences that lurk behind what seemed like ordinary decisions. There were risks, silent, invisible, and devastating, that could have shaken your very foundation. You could have been betrayed by someone you trusted with your heart, misled into choices that would have altered your destiny, or ensnared in the situations that would have drained your spirit. Yet somehow you were spared. Somehow the universe, guided by God Himself, intervened. Every opportunity that fell through, every plan that didn't unfold, every relationship that ended abruptly, they weren't coincidences or mere bad luck. They were divine mercy, carefully, intentionally, and lovingly placed in your path to protect you from harm you could not have seen. Have you ever thought about how close you were to walking into heartbreak or disaster, only to find that the doors were already closed before you even reached them? What if I told you that these removals, these divine no's, were acts of love, a shield placed between you and what could have destroyed your peace, your energy, and your purpose? Ask yourself this: what if the pain of what didn't happen is actually a blessing in disguise? What if the relationships that failed, the jobs that slipped away, the opportunities that vanished, all of it was actually heaven protecting the sacredness of your journey? Each time you feel disappointment, consider the possibility that God's timing, His intervention, and His removals were never random, but deliberate. They were meant to preserve your heart, your mind, and your spirit. They were meant to safeguard the very essence of who you are. And chosen one, here is something to reflect on deeply. The hidden risks you were spared from were not punishment for mistakes, nor proof of weakness. They were proof of divine foresight. God saw what you could not. He acted before disaster struck, before betrayal could wound you, before a mistake could spiral into something irreversible. Your protection was quiet, unseen, and often misunderstood, but it was real. Your life was never left to chance, and your destiny was never in jeopardy. Tonight, I want you to feel this truth in your soul. What was removed from your path was not loss, but mercy. What was blocked was not failure, but preservation. And as you begin to recognize the unseen hands that guarded you, a sense of peace rises. A recognition that you are sacred, you are chosen, and you are being prepared for something greater than you can yet imagine. Every risk you never faced, every danger you never encountered, every heartbreak you never endured, it all points to a singular truth. You are protected, you are guided, and your life is being held by a divine hand far greater than your own understanding. Chosen one, pause and breathe. Think about the times your heart waited longer than you thought it should. Think about the plans that never unfolded, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, and the losses that left you questioning your worth. These moments often feel heavy, unfair, even cruel. You may have asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Why am I waiting? Why did I lose what I thought I deserved? Tonight, I want you to see these moments through a different lens. A lens that reveals the mercy hidden beneath the surface of what feels like disappointment. Delays are not denials, chosen one. Losses are not punishments. What feels like frustration is often protection in disguise. God's timing is perfect, even when yours is impatient. His awareness stretches beyond what you can perceive, beyond what your mind can comprehend, beyond what your heart can endure. Every wait, every closed door, every loss was not random. It was divine strategy, a gentle act of mercy designed to protect you from harm you could not yet see, from paths that would have led to confusion, pain, or distraction from your purpose. Have you considered that what you lost might never have been meant for you in the first place? That the very thing you mourned, the very door that closed, may have been a blockade protecting your heart, your mind, and your destiny? What if God's delays are not obstacles but invitations? To pause, to reflect, to heal, and to prepare for what is truly meant for you. In His mercy, He redirects your life, placing you on paths aligned with your spirit and your calling, even when you cannot understand it in the moment. And chosen one, here is a question for your soul. How different would your journey look if you truly trusted that every delay, every loss, every moment of waiting was not absence, but presence? Presence of a God who sees the dangers you cannot, who understands the consequences you cannot, and who moves in your life to protect you long before harm could reach you. Mercy sometimes wears the disguise of denial. Sometimes it comes in the form of redirection. Sometimes it whispers in the quiet spaces of delay. And if you are willing to listen, you will recognize the hand of divine care in every moment you once called disappointment. Tonight, let this sink deep into your spirit. Delays are not setbacks. Losses are not failures. They are divine interventions. They are acts of mercy, chosen one, orchestrated by a God who knows what you need before you do, who protects what you cannot yet protect, and who preserves what you are not ready to lose. Your path is sacred. Your timing is divine. And every withheld blessing, every postponed opportunity, and every loss is proof that you are being watched over, guided, and preserved for the life, the purpose, and the destiny you were born to fulfill. Chosen one, have you ever felt the sudden weight of a moment when something in your life just stopped? A plan that was moving forward with certainty, a relationship that seemed destined, an opportunity you were sure was yours, suddenly paused, redirected, or ended. At first, it may have felt like a loss, a failure, or a cruel twist of fate. But what if I told you that these moments are not coincidences at all? What if every sudden stop, every closed door, every unexpected change was actually a sign of divine intervention, a signal that God Himself is actively steering your path away from danger and toward the future you were meant to have? Think about it. How often have you narrowly avoided disaster only to look back and realize the timing was perfect? How often has life unexpectedly shifted and only later did you see the wisdom in the change? These are not accidents. These are moments when God steps in gently, silently, and powerfully to protect your heart, your mind, and your destiny. Every disruption, every twist in the road, every no you didn't understand at the time was a sign that something greater was at work, guiding you, redirecting you, preserving you from what could have harmed your life. Ask yourself this: how many times have you felt relieved in hindsight that things didn't go as planned? That person who betrayed you, that opportunity that vanished, that decision you almost made that could have changed everything? These moments are proof that God intervenes before it is too late. He sees what you cannot see. He understands what you cannot yet comprehend. And through these signs, He communicates to you, chosen one, that you are not alone, that every step of your journey is being watched over, guarded, and divinely directed. And here is a truth to carry with you. These signs are not random, they are purposeful. Sudden stops are not punishment. Closed doors are not rejection. Unexpected changes are not chaos. They are evidence that God is present, active, and deeply involved in the intricate unfolding of your life. Each sign is a divine whisper. I am here. I am protecting you. I am guiding you toward what is rightfully yours. The more you learn to recognize these signs, the more you will see that your life is not left to chance. Your path is being shaped, steered, and preserved with precision, with care, and with love beyond measure. Tonight, take a moment to reflect on the invisible ways God has intervened in your life. The stops, the shifts, the doors that closed, they were never coincidences. They were shields, signals, and safeguards. They were mercy in action. And as you begin to see these signs for what they truly are, your heart will start to recognize a profound truth. You are chosen, you are protected, and your life is being actively guided toward the purpose, peace, and destiny that only you were meant to experience. Chosen one, take a moment and feel the weight of your journey. Every block, every redirect, every loss that once felt like punishment has a purpose far greater than you can yet see. God's protection is not just about keeping you safe. It is about preserving the very essence of your life, your path, and your destiny. Every step you take, every choice you make, every moment of struggle has been under divine supervision, orchestrated to ensure that the path you are on today remains intact, sacred, and aligned with your calling. Think about it. What would have happened if the dangers you were spared from had struck? What if those hidden pitfalls, betrayals, or mistakes had fractured your heart, diverted your energy, or shattered your faith? The truth, chosen one, is that you would not have been able to fulfill the purpose you were born for. But because God intervened, because He blocked what would have destroyed you, your calling has remained untouched, your journey unbroken, and your destiny unharmed. Protection, in its quiet and unseen way, ensures that the life you were meant to live is still yours to embrace. Have you ever felt moments of clarity when you suddenly realize that what didn't happen in your life was actually a blessing? That the failures or delays you endured were preparing you for something far greater? This is what divine preservation feels like. God not only shields you from harm, He strengthens you, teaches you wisdom, and builds resilience so that when the right moment arrives, you are ready to step into your purpose fully, powerfully, and without compromise. Your path is not accidental. Your calling is not optional. And your destiny is far too precious to be left vulnerable. And chosen one, here is a question for your soul. How different would your life feel if you truly understood that every block, every delay, and every redirected step was a deliberate act of love and preservation? How differently would you see your setbacks if you knew that God is not closing doors to punish you, but to guide you, protect you, and prepare you for the fulfillment of your calling? Every action, every intervention, every unseen shield is proof that you are being preserved for what is next, stronger, wiser, and more ready than ever to step into the destiny that only you can fulfill. Tonight, let your heart recognize this. Your life has been guarded, your purpose protected, and your path preserved. God has blocked what could have destroyed you so that you can walk fully into the life, the calling, and the destiny He designed specifically for you. Nothing has been lost that was meant to remain, and nothing harmful has touched what was sacred. The journey ahead is still yours, intact, protected, and divinely guided. And as you move forward, remember this. Every step, every moment, and every challenge is part of the unfolding of a purpose far greater than your understanding, but perfectly aligned with your spirit, your calling, and your destiny.